Yo, what is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so stay till the end of the video so you don't have to watch another video on YouTube on AMC, because we will be covering everything right here. All I ask in return is for you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and to just be happy and enjoy your weekend. Okay, so AMC's press release selling the 110 million APE shares and issuing this vote for the conversion and the reverse split based off of the article and how long Antera will hold their APE units for. We have 90 days from this set date until the meeting. Somewhere in between that 90-day span will be the vote. Whenever Adam Aaron issues that is beyond me, but it does look like it has to be before 90 days. Now, it has been 22 days since this press release came out. I'm just trying to cover everything and show where we are at with AMC in total. So in my opinion, AMC is sitting around this cycle that it played out back in January of 2021 when it actually hit a low of $1.91 and retail picked this thing up. Now, you saw right here, which is exactly where I think AMC is playing out, or has a good chance that AMC is playing out at this zone. Volume increase, slightly decrease, and then drastically decrease before getting a pop. This is known as a spring, and if you look over to where AMC is trading at right now, you are seeing the same exact thing happen. 53 million volume, slightly decreased 41, drastically decreased 13 million. Now, does this mean that this is going to occur? No. However, it does look like AMC hit a substantial bottom, at least for the time being. And in my opinion, next week is going to be a crazy week because all of a sudden, right, the market starts rallying a little bit, crypto starts rallying a little bit, but is this hope, right? Is this hope, or is the market about to enter back into a bull market? Well, in my opinion, come Monday, we are watching for a break over $7 for AMC before getting a major pop. And the way that comes into fruition is if you see volume pick up, whether it doubles, triples, quadruples in volume, you need to see volume pick up. Not only that, but if you come down to the options chain, next week is also an important week with the yearly expiration at January 20th, about 500,000 call contracts expiring out of money. Now, currently for this week, we are winning on the options chain, 24,000 calls compared to 18,000 puts expiring in the money, 100,000 shares available to borrow, according to Stock Tracker, at the most recent fee of 127%. However, if you come down to the short exempts, it does look like shorts are not giving up, right? Market makers are most likely creating shares and labeling them as short exempts to further find them in the future, right? And in my opinion, you can see the day 111, they stacked up on these 675,000, in my opinion, to stop that volume and FOMO and gamma ramp from all happening, right? They can stunt it for a second, and then they wait, and then they locate these shares, and then they put them in the algorithm, and then it creates buying pressure over time, slightly buying pressure, so it fits in with the algorithms, right? Well, according to Ortex, which is hopefully more accurate than Stock Tracker, we have a 22.09% short interest of free float on AMC, which actually has been increasing. Utilization still maxed out at 100%, with the cost to borrow average at 315% and the max at 327%. So anybody borrowing shares on AMC, the average amount they are borrowing is more than triple their position that they are paying just to borrow these shares. There's absolutely no doubt that shorts are trapped in this play. However, they are starting to scale out of APE, ticker symbol APE, which is AMC's preferred equity unit. Short interest dropped from high 7% to low 5%, right? Does this mean that they think the conversion will occur? Because remember, if the conversion does occur and the vote is yes, that they have to close all short positions on APE. So do you think they are getting out early because of that, or do you think they are getting out early just in case because they think something is going to come forward with the market, right? Because if they're getting out for no reason, it wouldn't make sense, because the cost to borrow average is 7%. 8%, and they'd have a better chance, you know, theoretically taking APE to zero than AMC, but apparently not. And what this shows me is that, at least for the time being, APE is not going to zero. According to Stock Tracker, for GameStop, 450,000 shares available to borrow at the most recent fee of 21%. Options chain absolutely winning, 23,000 calls compared to 1,000 puts expiring in the money, and that yearly expiration next week has over 500,000 call contracts out of the money as well. However, the same thing with the put side of things. So next week is really going to be a fight between retail and market makers. GameStop also got a 94 for a short squeeze score on Ortex, and we saw that AMC triggered 2 short squeeze signals the other day on Ortex. I wanted to talk about the overall market and the overall economy as a whole. Yellen urges U.S. Congress to act quickly on the debt limit. The interest expense on U.S. public debt rose to $775 billion over the past year, a record high. If it continues to increase at the current price, it will soon be the largest line item in the federal budget, budget, surpassing Social Security. The recent surge in Treasury bill supplies will likely push the outstanding amount of public debt about $10 billion above the debt ceiling after the close of business on January 19th. So there is about a week left. Like Yellen says, the US has to act quickly on the debt limit before we go $10 billion over the ceiling. Touching on that, credit card balances reached a record-setting $866 billion in the third quarter of last year, which represents a year-over-year increase of 19%. Speaking of that, look at the personal savings rate taking a dive to all-time lows, sitting at 2.2%. This is horrible, and if you think it's retail pumping the market or retail pumping crypto, it's most likely not, and it's probably a temporary pump, probably being done by institutions. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Dave Lauer tweeted, Larry Fink from BlackRock just said on CNBC, I look forward to the day when all stocks and bonds are tokenized so we know every beneficial owner of every stock and bond. He goes surprising coming from BlackRock. Clearly sarcasm, right? We've been seeing BlackRock a lot lately trying to make certain moves, as well as Ken Griffin. Now China's trade surplus swelled to a record $877.6 billion last year as exports rose despite weakening US and European demand, which is a new record. The benchmark 10-year Japanese government bonds yield is now above the Bank of Japan's new policy ceiling, which is the highest in 8 years. We are watching history unfold. The Bank of Japan has played Monopoly for years and is now scrambling. Just in more layoffs as Crypto.com to lay off 20% of its workforce. And all of a sudden, these major banks are saying that a recession is not the case anymore, right? JP Morgan says mild recession in the US is now the central case. Goldman Sachs also says they no longer forecast a Euro-era recession. Now this is interesting because all of these banks saying we are going to see a horrible recession going forward, it's going to get bloody, and you know, you saw that article back on maybe CNBC or one of the news outlets saying retail has to sell first for the market to bottom. Now all of a sudden the banks are saying, yo, market's pumping a little bit, pumped to 1 to 2%, right? Not bad. It looks like we might be breaking resistance. We might actually start scaling to the upside, and then they go, you know, actually a mild recession is not really the case. Meanwhile, the day-to-day person is living paycheck to paycheck. Debt is horrible right now. Who has money to pump the markets like this? With that being said, where do you think we are in this chart? Do you think we are in the quote-unquote bull trap to return to normal phase? Because in my opinion, that could be definitely where we are, and it actually looks almost identical to how the S&P 500 is trading right now. And when we start to dip even further, you're going to see fear, capitulation, despair before we even start to rally again. But you guys let me know in the comments where you think we are in this chart. As for the S&P 500, the same thing we had drawn out has played out pretty much to a T, and the SPY has not broken out of these resistance lines. Again, it's just a sitting, waiting game. But usually, you know, when the market is safe and the market is ready to be bought back into, right, people are ready to purchase equities again, you see it slowly scale over time. You're not going to see it flatline and then have major red days on no news, right? That's just not what you are going to see with a healthy stock market in general, which makes me just sit back and still sit on some dry powder waiting for the SPY to dip even further. And it could definitely be a risk. I don't recommend any financial advice to anybody because I'm not a financial advisor. However, in my opinion, it's just very skeptical to say the least. As for GameStop, if we rip next week alongside AMC, I'm watching for a break over 2250 to be the first level, and then we will go beyond from there. Overall, guys, this is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend, and hopefully you enjoy the 2 videos I uploaded yesterday and then 2 today. I've been pumping out content like crazy, and I've been sitting at my computer researching, recording, editing, and posting for you guys. So please just subscribe, have post notifications on, hit the like button, get us to 1,000 likes. Also, if you want 15 free stocks and a chance to win $60,000, my link will be in the comments and in the description, so you can find it in 2 spots. All you have to do is download Moomoo and deposit, and you will get these benefits. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.